Thanks for joining me again, folks. We're going to get into some Warhammer Fantasy today, so let's just get to it. Roll it! Alright, Warhammer Fantasy. This is the part of the book I honestly was looking most forward to. I started out with Warhammer Fantasy in the hobby, actually with this starter set right here. 6th edition, I believe it was. The Orcs and Goblins versus Empire starter box. Man, I love this set. It was awesome. And the terrain, that's just such a throwback. Oh my god. Campaign markers. I've never seen these. Those are kind of neat. I do remember seeing the General's Compendium floating around back in the day. What is this? Joe Hill took home top honors for the Warhammer single miniature in 2003 UK Golden Demon with his Beastman Shaman. That's a really cool looking shaman. The hat is hilarious. Oh man, that's awesome. Man, I've always liked Beastmen, but it's the one faction from the fantasy side that I've never gotten into. I don't know why. I always like this guy with the overhead axe. Even the dual axe is pretty cool too. There's something about these dirty goat men that's just super cool. Oh, the old Minotaur Lord. Love that miniature. Let me know what your favorite fantasy faction is below in the comments. For me, it's really toss up. But I was just such a huge fan of the Orcs and Goblins. So I'm excited to see them in the book here. And all the chariots. The chariots all looked just so very similar. I was never really into those. I forgot about Chaos Pestigors. Those guys were so cool. Why is that not a thing anymore? I feel like those have been not a thing for a long time. They were like always metal, I believe. Man, some of these are just such nostalgia, such a throwback. It's crazy. I don't remember the Korngors too much. I think that's maybe a little more before my time. They're kind of cool. The headpieces are sculpted a little funny, but still very cool. I always love the Chaos Trolls. Basically any troll from Warhammer Fantasy, I am just totally in for. Especially the Stone Trolls. Those are my favorite, but the Chaos Trolls, there's just something about them just very, very, very cool. And that's like the last Chaos Troll sculpt we've seen, I believe, these guys. There might have been like a character one from Forge World, I can't quite remember, but something about Minotaurs too. They're just really cool and fun to paint. You got the fur and the skin and the horns to work with. That's yeah, it's just fun to paint those up. Chaos Ogres. Shaggoth, I think that's like, they still make this model? They still the same sculpt? I feel like maybe he's not a thing anymore. Very classic though, very, very classic. What's his story? Like what's he got this pelt on him? It looks like a very weird kind of pelt. Like I don't know what would be wearing that. Some kind of reptile or something. What is this? Kyron Henry's unique Beasts of Chaos Giant from the Storm of Chaos campaign. Some of the stuff back in the day was just so unique and weird. This guy's awesome with his pinkish purple skin. Oh man, so cool. The Dragon Ogres. Always so silly. Oh man. Agash, that's really cool too. Some very cool stuff. Very cool, very cool. But yeah, let me know what your favorite factions were down in the comments. I'd like to hear that. Are you guys excited for Old World? Is that something you're into, or are you kind of over it at this point? Me, I'm not too sure. It's very nostalgic and exciting, but I don't know. Square bases. Something about square bases is both such a pull and such a turn off. The old battalion box. Pegasus Knights, which I'm pretty sure the ones that are coming with Old World, aren't they the same Pegasus Knight sculpts? I feel like they are. The Green Knight I always thought was such a cool model. Such a cool model. Is that all that filigree? It's not sculpted on. Doesn't look like it's sculpted on there. So that's all freehand, all that line work in there. That's really cool. Yeah, it's not in there. Man, that's awesome. That is... Where's his armor? Yeah, nothing on the armor either. That's all freehand. That's so cool. That is really, really, really cool. The Bretonnians are pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Especially all the knights, of course. And Louan les Encore on the Hippogriff box. Something about the French, I tell you. I do love me some cheese and wine. Cheese and wine. They got some how to paint leather armor tutorial here. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. The questing knights. Man. So that's the fleur. Is that the fleur de lis? Fleur de lis or whatever. That's the same thing that the Sisters of Battle wear as well, right? Yeah. What is the connection there? I don't know too much about the lore, to be honest. I just really like cool models. Battle Pilgrims. That's just such not a cool unit. It's just very... yeah. I can imagine how much these were. They're all metal, too. Just running a bunch of pilgrims. That's like where the guys at Imperial Guard have... You could just conscripts. You can just run like hundreds of them. just chumps to throw into the blender. This is a cool sculpt. I like their like unique headpieces. Love the antlers. Very cool. So the heraldry stuff here. Rare units. That was a category. Eh? I feel like. Yeah, special units, rare units. It's been such a long time. I've forgotten about all of this. Every edition of these games is like, except for the jump from fantasy to sigmar, but within a system, they're so slight that over the years, like, just the lines blur a lot. Rules will go away, and then they come back in another edition. I love this. Isn't this like a... This is like a conversion, right? I feel like this is a 40k orc or something. What is that? I don't recognize that sculpt as one thing. I feel like it's a couple different things put together. That is awesome. Liliana Troy won Slayer Sword at 2004 Los Angeles Games Day Golden Demon painting competition with her Bretonnian Pegasus Knight. So awesome. All the freehand in here. These little swirls. Which is, yeah, man, that's so cool. Some beautiful stuff in here. I tell you what, these books are just so awesome to peruse through. Harpies. Won this guy Player's Choice and Best Appearance Award. How big are these? They look like they're a smaller scale. For his Dark Elf army. So they must be 28 or 25 millimeter or whatever. The Executioners. I always thought the Executioners for the Dark Elves were amazing. They're so cool. So cool. The Beastmaster and Manticore, classic model. The Assassins. Dark Elves need to be a thing again. Like, they have so much flavor. Why aren't they a thing? I get that there's, what are they called? Daughters of Cain, which is like kind of spiritually what this is in Sigmar, but I don't know. I don't like how it's all split up now and weird. There's Marathi there. That I always, even back in the day, I thought that was kind of a weird model. It just doesn't look right. I wonder how old that is, because like even these guys with their fat hands and stuff, they look better sculpted than she does, in my opinion, at least. But yeah, she looks pretty old. Has like kind of an 80s vibe to it. I can't remember when Fantasy first released. Somebody tell me down below. I would like to know, and I'm gonna forget to look it up. I'm not gonna stop right now and check my phone because we got pages here. The Dark Riders were always very cool. Anything hooded, I think, is cool. I don't know why. Why were these on multiple bases? Like, was there a reason for that? Could you lose a cold one? Like, that's just weird to me. Why didn't they just put it on one big base? Or is it just because they already had these base sizes for something else and they didn't want to make a new base size? That's kind of weird. These were always kind of ugly, but they have their own charm, I guess. The harpies. Cold One Knights, always awesome. Executioners, just probably the reason I liked Dark Elves back in the day was solely because of the Executioners. Such cool sculpts. Even today, I still think they're pretty awesome. Like, obviously they show their age a little bit, but I feel like even their hands are sculpted a little better than some of the other ones. They look pretty good. They look pretty good. I like that, the painting cold ones there. That's cool. The bolt throwers. I always thought artillery's kind of cool. And the Blackguard. Yeah, that's the other reason to play Dark Elves. Blackguard is so cool. Man. Badass with their halberds. Halberd. Is that how you say it? I'm not quite certain. War Hydra. I love Hydras. Hydras are cool. I love painting monsters. Like, monsters are just so much fun to paint. I think it's because, like, they don't exist in real life, so you can kind of do whatever you want with them, and it still looks okay. So you could do any kind of color. Like look here, the scales on this. All of these look normal, but they're all so different, right? Like, you can do anything with monster stuff because it doesn't exist. So anything is really possible with that. Some more awesome display stuff here. Then the Witch King came. Doug Bissett did a great job on this Malekith model mounted on a black dragon. Looks like a pretty heavy conversion there, if I'm not mistaken. Like, that's pretty cool looking. Wonder why the cutout here. That seems kind of weird to me, but I don't know. It's pretty cool though. Pretty cool. And then you get stuff like this, where it's cut out into the base like that, so you can play it in a game. Maybe that's the same case here. I'm not sure. Seems kind of weird. Doesn't look like it cuts all the way through. Oh, the Dogs of War. They didn't last too long, I feel like. Like, when I got into the hobby, I feel like the edition after this, they were kind of gone. Like, maybe I'm wrong on that, but yeah, a lot of their stuff, I don't quite remember. Like this, especially. Is this a conversion? A gold winner at the 2001 UK Golden Demon painting competition. This mutated giant was painted by Jasper Quippers. That is very cool looking. Very cool. 2001, 22 years ago. Man, I'm old. I'm gonna be dead soon. That guy's cool. The Truthsayer. Very cool. Yeah, like these I don't recognize like at all. So this is kind of like very retro feeling. Gazak Khan. That's amazing. What the hell? Oh my god. That is so good. The face on that wolf is quite perfect too. Go Trek Gurnison and Felix. Go Trek and Felix. It's so good. There they are there too. I would love to paint those up. That'd be awesome. Love how he's holding the stone troll's head. Although I feel like that head is too small for a stone troll, but I could be wrong. Lorenzo Lupo. Is it one piece? Just with the shield separate? Huh. Wonder what the mold lines are like on that. Johann and Wilhelm. Jeez, Midas, the meme box. This stuff is very retro. Al-Qatani Fellowship Pikemen. Those guys look pretty sick. I always loved the Albion Giants. Something about them that's just very, very cool. I don't know why, but it's just they're awesome. Very, very awesome. Oh, and the Cursed Company. I remember these guys. The like orc skeletons. They look hilarious. There's a Lizardmen skeleton. Oh God, they're like, oh, it's a Skaven. These are so awesome. Wow. Okay, I kind of want to go online and find those. Mental note, editor. Buy those. I'm the editor, so. Golgfags, mercenary ogres. Golg. That's a weird name. I don't like that name. They would be fun to paint though. They look like a blast to paint. Probably just horrible to assemble because they're metal and would probably just break apart all the time. But these halfling hot pot guys, oh, they're so cool. Some of this stuff is just so silly. What is this? What is with the paint job on these? Oh my lord. Like, I'm not trying to be rough on anyone, but that's I'm surprised that was in an official book at some point. The colors look like very blown out. Maybe it's just because it's been reprinted so many times or something. I don't know. It's hard. Like, look at those eyes. That guy is amazing. Oh my lord. These are silly. Oh man, I had the Mengel Manhides Manflayers back in the day. They were not pretty sculpts. They're very classic feeling sculpts, but yeah, not the best, that's for sure. They're very like flat feeling. It feels like they're like pressed into a book, just right flat. Their poses are just like that wide kind of spread out thing. Yeah, if they were a little more dynamic, yeah, I think they'd be a little cooler. Ogla's Khan's Wolf Boys. Those are cool. So these guys go with that other Khan leader. That would be pretty cool to paint up. These Wolf Boys and the leader dude. Man, these are very cool. Like I never knew about Dogs of War too much back in the day. I saw some things. And looking at these just gives such like an old school vibe. It's crazy. Like these orcs, like something about these orcs is just amazing. I don't know why. These look better. These look better than the orcs that the Orcs and Goblins faction has. Like big time. Are these one piece? Or okay, I guess the arm separate. But yeah. Oh no. Oh, it's a crossbow. I thought that was just a hilt, and then you had to attach the blade on the top. That would have been horrible. Okay. These are weird looking too. Tichi Huichi's Raiders. That's so weird. These guys were just like a mercenary faction. You get characters from all the different factions banded together. And we got, what's his name? From Pirates of the Caribbean over here. People are going to roast me for not knowing his name. Jack Sparrow. There, I did it. Now you can't attack me. Or, yeah, you probably still can. Marissa von Sonden or something? I'm not sure what that's. A Sonhan. That's pretty cool looking with all the free hand on the sides of the horse there. That's pretty awesome. Dwarfs. Oh man, classic dwarfs. Classic dwarfs. Okay. This is good stuff. Oh yeah. Crossbows, man, these are cool. Elf Slayer. I always had a thing for dwarfs. That army book too, the art on it is just beautiful. was always great. That's like the 6th edition army book or something. Yeah, Joseph Bugman, Ungrim Iron Fist, King Cazador. So many classic skulls. King Ulrich is, you know, obviously always an awesome model. Awesome model. I never got to paint too many of these older dwarf models. I would definitely like to. The Anvil of Doom always looks super cool, but that thing being all metal, that must have weighed a good chunk. You could throw that at someone and kill them. Dwarf warriors. The hammers, their very mono pose look. I always thought the miners were really cool with the candles on their heads. Remind me of kobolds. You know, take candle. Bolt thrower. Slayer Doomseekers, always awesome with their chain axes. That pisses me off though, because I love stone trolls. Stop killing my stone trolls. Ironbreakers, such cool models too. Something about a heavily iron dwarf that's just kind of intimidating. Like they're thick enough already, why you gotta put them in iron? Organ gun. I remember that was like just an obliterating weapon back in the day. People just have tons of those. And the flame cannons. Gyrocopter is always silly. Blades always falling off. I don't remember this. Malachi Mackison's Goblin Hewer. What is, does it throw axes? Is it an axe throwing machine? That is amazing. That is such a cool concept and such a dwarf thing. What? Why is that not a thing anymore? That's so awesome. It's such like a silly Warhammer-y thing. That's a great model too. Oh, these are awesome. All the different color schemes. That is very cool. Bunch of dwarves teaming up and taking down a giant. Oh yeah, they're giant slayers, right? Oh, that's cool. That's so cool. Pose is awesome. Man. Very cool. Empire. Oh boy. Yeah, there's gonna be some great stuff in here. I had this box for sure. I converted the cannon crew. So it looked like one of the guys got hit with a cannon and he like fell backwards on a spear that was sticking out of the ground. Went through him. Yeah, I was like, I don't even know how old I was when I made that, like 10 years old. With a skewered cannon man. Valton, such a sexy model, especially this one. I love the young Valton model. It's so cool, so cool. I don't know why, it's just, it feels like such an epic, like Conan type pose or something. Carl Franz, I always thought that was a pretty sweet model too. I forgot there was this Valton too. There's 3 Valton models. Were they all different in the game? They must have been, right? Champion of Sigmar, Chosen of Sigmar, Exalted of Sigmar. Man, that's a pretty sweet model. Pretty sweet model. Oh geez, the wide arm wizard. Looking all silly. Luther. I always thought that was kind of cool with the giant hammer. Something about hammers, they're just... That's pretty much always the option I want to take if there's a weapon option. The elector counts. I just think it's so weird. Random one. Getting random models. It's just such a weird concept to me. I guess that's the reason we don't see it anymore, but I always thought the Empire looked so silly with their like quartered uniforms. Militia, which I don't really care for too much, to be honest. The Teutogan Guard, though. There's those hammers. There's those hammers. Showing you how to make the movement trays. That's like making movement trays. That on its own is a retro feel. I tell you what. There they are, the great swords. Love me some great swords. I love the sword with the wavy edges. What is that called? A Zweihander? Is that what that is? Zweihander? Or is that just like a different kind of sword? I always thought those were pretty awesome. The flagellants. Hellblaster volley gun. Classic beastly artillery. Yes, the steam tank. That thing was all metal too, I believe. That's like, imagine that. Like, it's like, I feel like it's like this big or something. It's like a decent size, and that's like a brick of metal. Such a monster. Showing you how to make some like cheap little tabards and stuff. Oh, the Kislev. I always thought the Kislev were awesome. Boris, the polar bear rider. Awesome. Must have had such a bad like gap line going down the center of that. 2 halves of a metal polar bear. Lots of gap filling back in the day. That's for sure. That is for sure. That is a weird way to paint a horse. I've never seen a horse with half a red body. It's a war paint. Like, that just seems kind of cruel. Don't paint your horses, people. That's weird. Kislev Griffin Legion Regiment. Counter tactics. This is pretty cool. These little like tactics sections. Tactics, tips for winning with the Empire, and tips for fighting against the Empire. That's awesome. This is a catalog, but it has stuff like that in there. Like, they didn't have to do that, but it's here, which is pretty awesome that they did that kind of stuff back in the day. You don't really see that anymore. That's pretty cool looking. That's very well painted. Knights of the Blazing Sun. Brett DeWald's Knights of the Blazing Sun winning first place at 2004 Baltimore Games Day Golden Demon painting competition. And a few more cool pieces here. None of these ones are really that crazy looking to me. Like, as far as like the idea of the piece, like well painted for sure. This one's that looks pretty decent to me. It's kind of a neat looking piece. I like the wolf head part there. Yeah. Empire, man. Empire, pretty cool. High Elves. That was technically my first army. I had a command pack that my grandfather got me, my first models. They were just like metal bannerman and musician and champion or whatever. And, that's what I started with. Kind of a weird little set to start with, but then I think I got like a box of archers, high elf archers at one point. Yeah, they're kind of cool army. A lot of little crap to paint on them. Lots of gems and little filigree bits and stuff like that. Wasn't the best army to start with, that's for sure. Imric, that's such a cool classic dragon. Very awesome. Looks like the wings might have been plastic and the rest metal potentially. Looks like that might be plastic as well, I'm not sure. These definitely look like they're plastic. Oh, these are... Okay, so a good chunk of it is plastic. Some of it might be metal. I'm pretty sure it's a combo kit, so these individual pieces were probably metal, and then these were plastic. I don't know. Maybe those were metal, and that would really suck. Imagine trying to keep those on. You have to do some major pinning. Like, I know they have pins on them already, but that's probably not gonna be enough. Oh geez, showing you how to put a string on your bows. Oh man, that's That's work right there. Tell you what. Dragon Princes, I always thought those were pretty cool looking models. There's so much fantasy stuff. Like, I feel like there's more fantasy in this book than there was 40k. Because fantasy came first, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but pretty sure that's the case. Man, this horse looks just pissed off. Like, this book is just awesome. I love looking through this. Sword Masters of Hoeth. I always thought those were amazing models, even though they all look pretty much the same. But it kind of reminds me of that scene in Lord of the Rings. The opening with all the elves lined up with their swords and all swipe through at the same time through the line of orcs. Yeah. Just in perfect formation. The Phoenix Guard, beautiful models too. I always love those. Very nice. The White Lions, those were pretty cool too. Those were pretty cool. Lots of cool stuff. Like the lion headpiece there. And again, the tactics articles. Very cool. Judicious use of dispel dice and dispel scrolls can bring a difficult magic phase under control. This unit of Dragon Princes is indeed very dangerous. However, Dragon Princes are still only toughness 3 models. Concentrate your shooting on this unit, especially war machines, and you should be able to sort them out quickly. This is pretty awesome. This is a great book. That looks great. That's very cool. Love that paint job. That looks sick, especially the writing there. How he transitioned the letters, the freehand letters. I'm assuming those are freehand. I don't think they're sculpted on, but I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong about like half the things I've said during this video, so I'm so sorry. Gotta love chaos. Hordes of chaos. It's weird hearing them called that. Like Warriors of Chaos was a thing for such a long time, and yeah, I always loved the Warriors of Chaos infantry. I just think they're such a classic pose. They just look so good. They lasted for so long at that one sculpt. Archaon, such an amazing old school sculpt. Like that still stands up to today. Like I feel like it's such a cool and dynamic sculpt, and it's well detailed enough, but it's not too detailed. It'd be a lot of fun to paint. It's not too much like weird little stuff on it. That looks like fun. I always thought that was such a weird dragon, Galroch or Galrock or whatever. Very kind of strange. Maybe in a different paint job it would look different. I don't know, like look better. Not sure. The original Be'lakor, kind of a cool model, but the new one definitely has a beat. I always thought this was cool too. The Slaanesh on Steed. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Many boobies on the Slaanesh on Steed. Lord of Nurgle. I love that new one that's basically like a remake of this. What's that new model called? I cannot remember, but it looks great. And the old one looks great still. So good, so good. God, I just love anything floating on a disc. I think is cool, and I don't know why. Something about discs just make things cool. The Champion of Slash I always thought was a cool sculpt too. Very nice. And you know, there's Khorne doing Khorne stuff. I find Khorne very boring. It's just always the same thing over and over and over. But whatever. I mean, you like what you like. Yeah, these are the guys I was talking about. I think they look so good now. Like it's just such a cool sculpt. Not too much on them. Interesting kind of aesthetic and pose. I mean the pose I guess isn't interesting, but it's intimidating. I feel like They just look powerful with that kind of marching forward pose. They look really good. These look terrible. The old Marauders, I never liked them. Even back in the day, I thought they looked very, very silly. But I don't know. Again, you like what you like. Some people might like some of the stuff where I just don't care for it. They always look so silly when they weren't on the steed. That just looks hilarious to me. And the Hell Cannon. I thought that was pretty cool. I wish Chaos Dwarves were a thing. Evil Dwarves are just awesome. Flipping anything on its head and making it evil is cool to me. I don't know why. I'd like to see like Seraphon, evil Seraphon. Like a twisted version of them. Weird ass like twisted strange dinosaurs. That'd be cool. Turning anything into evil version just opens up opportunities. I feel like more tactics. Oh, that's a interesting conversion. Taking the polar bear from the Empire and putting the champion of Slaanesh on there. Looks kind of weird to me. Like it doesn't feel very Slaanesh-y, but I don't know. Cool enough, I guess. That's this piece though. That's wow. That looks really good. Looks really good. Well, the purple of the armor kind of blends into that one banner, but still, it looks awesome. I wish I could get a better view of that piece because I feel like it would have a better angle, rotated a little more closer to the front. I see those banners a little more. Very nice. And the palette on this is very cool. The pastels and stuff on the armor. It's very interesting. I got lots for chaos here. What? There was a woolly mammoth sculpt at one point. Is that true? War mammoth? Or is that like a conversion? Maybe it was like an old Forge World thing. I don't know. That looks awesome. All of these look great. Especially whatever this little guy is. It's like a tiny little twisted like tadpole of a seraphon or something. That's so weird. The hell is that? And here they are, Lizardmen or seraphon or whatever you want to call them. It's space lizards now. I always thought they were pretty sweet. I had a bunch of Lizardmen that my mother got me like for Christmas when I don't even know how old. 9 years old, 10 years old, something like that. It was just full of very old school Lizardmen sculpts. Stuff before this, like 4th edition or something. They looked pretty bad, but I thought they were awesome at the time. So I always thought this Carnosaur looked really cool. I don't know why. Like, it's not a great sculpt, really, but I just think it looks awesome and intimidating. It's cool. Carnosaurs have just always been cool to me. And Temple Guard too. I always thought they were really, really, really cool. Saw somebody paint like all the skulls like a really like bronzy gold kind of thing back in the day, and I just thought it looked really sweet. And I always wanted them. It'd be fun to paint up. The Croxagore. I always thought the Croxagore were so great too. So what's with this symbol shows up on the tactics articles, and seeing it on some of the units throughout this book. So is that like a reference tying it to the tactics article later on or something? Saying like, oh, at the end of this section, there will be some tactics on this unit. I don't know. The Croxagore, they're I love those models. I love the old ones. I love the new ones. I love any Croxagore dudes. I always love big, chunky monster units. I just think they're the coolest things in these games, generally. For me. Got the old Stegodon. Some more painting articles here. And there's the tactics. Yeah, so you see that there. That's... Why is it... Jungle Swarms, Slan Mage Priest. It was on the Croxagore. Yeah, so it looks like it's flagging those units and saying they're going to get referenced in the tactics article later. That's pretty cool. This is like such a cool book. Like, why don't they do this nowadays? I get it, internet and stuff, but like these books are just awesome just to hang out and look through and just check out like some of this old school stuff. Just have it all in one place. 'Cause you can't just find this stuff very easily anymore. And that'll be the case eventually with the stuff we have now. Might think not. Oh, the internet has evolved so much and data will be retained forever, but things do get lost and corrupted and things happen. This conversion is awesome for a Saurus Old Blood. I think that's very cool. Very, very, very cool. Always love the frogs. Love me a good frog, I tell you what. Okay. Ogre Kingdoms. Ogre Kingdoms. They were even around at this time. 2006. 2006 is like 17 years ago. Yeah, I guess so. But when did they first come out? I feel like it was early 2000s or something. Very cool models. Get the Butcher. Butcher was always awesome. Ogre Tyrants. Like all these models pretty much stand up to today, except for maybe this guy. That mouth is kind of whack. That's kind of whack. Grease's Gold Tooth. Classic model with all the little snotlings carrying him. Hilarious. And Scrag the Slaughterer. So good too. It'll be awesome if a lot of this stuff comes back with Old World. Like there would be a danger for sure. Oh, the old pots. Ugh, God, they sucked. I'm sorry. GW has never really had good bottles. Let's be real here. Yetis, I still think they're cool. I don't know why, but I mean they do need new. They need new sculpts, for sure. I hope they get a big glow up like the Gorgers did, because the Gorgers, the new ones are just amazing, and I like the old ones too, and they're probably gonna be in here. I mean, there was only like one sculpt, I think, maybe two of the old one, but I thought they looked really good. I don't know why. It was just kind of a cool, intimidating looking model. Man-eaters, ninja man-eater, ogre female man-eater, like what? So it's like a guy dressing as a female. So it's like a cross-dresser or something. I don't know. They're available only via special offer. Are these metal too? More man-eaters. Man, I always thought they were just such cool sculpts. Okay, so here's the Gorgers. So it looks like they're both the same sculpt, just with a head swap. There's two different heads, right? There's nothing else that's different here. Yeah, but I like the sculpt. It was fun to paint. It's just very kind of simple, fun-looking character. But you couldn't have 5 of these guys or whatever. It would look terrible. It's all the same, exact same sculpt. And it's like metal. You can't really convert it that easily. Yeah, that it definitely needed a new kit, and thankfully we got one. So kind of. I mean, it's in a Warcry box, but hopefully that means we will get an actual set at some point, but whatever. I mean, what we got is pretty cool. It's like 5 unique sculpts now or something, so. This is just lots of like the same dude these, all these guys, like, it just looks like the same thing over and over again. This is kind of weird. That's like the black and white. That's kind of strange. Two-headed ogre. That's awesome. This guy's just like wearing a shield for a mask or something. These aren't as impressive as the showcases for some of the other factions. Maybe it's because ogres hadn't been around that long at this point, so there wasn't as many entries for them. I don't know. This is a very cool conversion though. Japanese folklore inspired Stuart Spengler to create this ogre patterned after the Oni demonic creatures who hunt for the souls of those who commit evil deeds. Looks awesome. Very cool. Very, very cool. And the Orcs and Goblins. Oh yeah. This is my jam. Love these guys. Always been cool. You got a little bit of humor, I'm on board. Just like a little bit of humor, you know? These guys are just so silly. The war boss on Wyvern, always cool. Wyvern. I don't know how to say that. You guys can tell me how to say it down below. Make me smarter. Make me a smart boy, please. Thank you. Grimgore Ironhide, love that guy. I actually have him right here in front of me. Boom. There we go. How to scale are we? Well, they're actually like pretty much to scale here. That's awesome. I'm gonna repaint this guy. He's one of the first character models I've ever had. This is I still have the original one. This one I rebought it so that I can do a repaint and compare it to my first painted one to see kind of how far I have come since the old days. So yeah, that's a very classic model for me. I love it. I'm excited to paint it again. So Borget Face Beater. I always just thought that was such a funny name as a kid, and still now as an adult. These guys were always hilarious. The fanatics hucking themselves around with their ball and chains. And the savage orcs, so cool. Got their own faction. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Everything's just feels so split up now with Age of Sigmar. Everything has to have its own. Everything's got to be its own faction, its own sub-faction or whatever. And I get it. Some of it has gotten cool. Like goblins are on their own now, and they've got the whole mushroom and trolls thing going on, and I think that's pretty sweet. I've got a ton of goblins now to paint up. I have a lot of the like hoppers, squig hoppers or whatever. I think I've got like 30 of them or something to paint up, and a bunch of other squig stuff. I think they're great. But yeah, Savage Orcs, they've just never had enough stuff to be their own faction, and yet they made them their own faction for quite a while. So, kind of weird, but there's my stone trolls. Love them. I don't know why. I think they're such cool, silly sculpts, and I'm really looking to get 3 of these guys for me to paint on one of each sculpt. I think there's only 3 sculpts. I just really want to paint those guys again. Maybe there's more than that. 3, 4 sculpts, 5 sculpts. They're awesome. Very awesome. I love trolls. I don't know why. Just love painting up those big guys. Let's have a lot of fun painting up big monsters. Snotling Pump Wagon. Such a great model to constantly fall apart on your table. More tactics. Gotta love a squig. Gotta love a squig. Oh wow, those trolls look great. That's awesome. That Trace Jacob, I don't know. Shows amazing detail on each of these stone trolls and won first place in the Warhammer Regiment category at the 2001 Games Day Golden Demon Painting Competition. Awesome. They look amazing. This one looks great too. Oh my god. That's brutal. He's about to bash in this like little Empire guy. Jaron Lee's Troll Battering won second place at the 2004 Los Angeles Games Day Golden Demon Painting Competition. That looks brutal. Like, something about this image is just, oh, that guy's gonna get obliterated. His brains are just gonna be everywhere. Oh, that's a great looking Grimgore. Ooh, beautiful. Beautiful paint job. Very cool. Skaven. Another classic faction. Calling out my buddy Colin. He loves Skaven. He's all about that Skaven. He has all of his old original Skaven stuff from when we were both in the hobby way back in the day. I think he plans to play them in Old World when it comes out. Which apparently, like, it looks like there was a leak of like a tweet that was made by Games Workshop or something and then got removed, something like that. I can't remember what it was. That said Old World will be coming in February 2024. If so, that's pretty dang soon. So if you're interested in it, start saving your dollars like now, because it's coming. It is coming. Love the Globadiers. I think they're so cool. Is it Globadiers? Globadiers. Storm Vermin I always thought were awesome, although not these ones. I don't remember that sculpt. I remember the one that came after, which was pretty awesome. These ones look pretty funky, I gotta say. Pretty funky. Plague Mugs, like, they haven't changed that, I don't think. And there's so much they could do with them. Like, there's the Underworlds stuff. The Underworlds has a Plague Monks warband, and it just looks amazing. And then there's these guys. Just like, eh. Rat Ogres were always awesome. Although I never saw the mutated ones floating around with the weird stuff added onto their bodies. It was always just like the basic ones with like the hook hand or whatever, stabby hands stuff. Never saw the mutated ones too much. I don't know why. Were they harder to get or something? Were they older? Must be older ones. Warp Lightning Cannon. That thing is much larger now. Graciers, Gutter Runners. Gutter Runners, like, they had just old sculpts for the longest time. The old Clan Rats, they look so ugly. Ugh. Skaven looks so much better now. Their sculpts are amazing. So good. Look at these guys. Ah, that's awesome. Are these a mix of the ogres? Yeah. Ogres, orcs. Oh my god, some chaos in there. That's one hell of a thick boy rat ogre conversion. That's so good. I just love how they show you how to do these conversions. It's just so awesome. You never see that now. Never ever. Skaven slaves? Was that even a thing? They had slaves? Was that a rule? Look at this giant fat boy. That's amazing. That model is awesome. So good. Tomb Kings. That new Tomb King model that was shown, like the big, what is it, like crocodile dragon looking thing, the giant monster. I don't know about that. It just looks weird. It's like it's hard to tell what shape it has, at least based on the pictures that we've seen. Like it looks like it's just kind of all over the place. I don't know. It doesn't seem very cohesive with like the base. I don't know. I don't really like it that much at all. Casket of Souls, always a sick model though. Very, very cool. But yeah, I gotta see that new Tomb Kings model in person, because I have no idea how that was approved, because it looks real funky to me. But maybe it's not so bad in person. It could just be a pictures thing. You know, sometimes seeing images or even video sometimes online, it just looks nothing compared to how it looks in person. Like, they can just look so much better in person. I always thought High Queen Khalida looked amazing. Like, it looks like such a better sculpt than the rest of the Tomb King stuff. Was this like a newer one? Came out after a lot of the other stuff? I don't know. Chariots, they had the units of chariots. Pretty cool, pretty cool. I always thought the skeletal horses just looked just real funny. Like, they just, is that what a horse looks like with all of its skin off? I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't want to see that, but it looks weird. I always thought the Ushabti were really awesome. They'd be fun to paint up. The Tomb Guard always looked amazing too. I always like teal, like a bluish green. Always looks good on models. I don't know why. That or purple. I put those colors on far too many of my models. It's I just can't help it sometimes. I don't know why. And the Bone Giant, that's a classic model. It's not a great sculpt, but it's awesome, and I want one. Want to own one. It looks like what's that old movie? I can't remember the name of it. There's like a big bone giant type thing in it. It's like all like stop motion. It looks really silly when it's moving. That's what it looks like to me. That's a very cool one there. This guy looks like he's just shrugging. He's supposed to be pointing, I guess, but he looks kind of funny to me. This is very cool, with all the scarabs coming up the stairs to Khalida. Awesome. And the vampire counts. Whew, there's going to be some stuff here that sucks to not have anymore. That's awesome. This is like this dressed up, silly looking zombie and some Empire guy just like fighting him off as he comes up the hill. That's awesome. I like that little display. That's cool. Very cool. The old skeletons looked really silly. Ah, oh, Zacharias, the ever-living. That is great. I love the old vampires so much more than the new ones. I just want vampires to be vampires. Like the Strigoi. They're so weird. Such weird sculpts. But I do remember them somewhat fondly for some reason. Yeah, that's like classic Manfred von Karstein. Just like the vampire, basically. Hello, I am a vampire. How are you? Von Karstein on foot. How many models did they have? Jeez. 3? These come in a set. Those 2. Are these different? Yeah, they are different. And then this guy. So 3 models of him. Oh man. Blood Dragon vampires. Those are awesome. I think I like this guy the most. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. I like the Blood Dragon on Winged Nightmare as well. Very classic. The face of that thing is just like it looks almost like a pterodactyl or something. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, those skeletons are jank though. Like, ugh. Pretty ugly. I even thought back in the day they looked kind of weird. Necrarch vampires. The old vampires are just so much cooler. So much cooler. I even like the old zombies actually. I don't know why, they're just, I don't know. The new ones are pretty sweet though too. I really didn't want to paint them because I don't like batch painting, and then I did and it was pretty awesome. I like the old ghouls too. I cannot wait for the new ghouls. I have that army box on pre-order and I'm real excited to get into that. The Flesh Eater Court stuff is just so sweet. They needed an upgrade for a long time. I'm so happy now that they're going like into the whole regal thing, the regal insanity stuff. Like they gave it all the lore with Sigmar and they just didn't really do anything with it. So now they're actually going to get it. And the judge looks so good. The Pope looks so good. What's his name? What the heck's the big guy's name? It's slipping me right now, but he looks so good. The big guy. I can't wait to paint him up. He's just gonna be a blast. All that stuff is gonna look really good. I'm thinking of doing like a white scheme, white skinned with like bright blood on the fingertips and stuff. I think it'll look really good. Is that an orc head? That's got to be an orc head, right? Like, come on. That doesn't quite look right. Oh, man. That's funny. This is pretty cool. I do like that. Yeah. It's kind of a silly head, but I still think the piece is quite cool. These are kind of cheesy. Chad Mears was, I don't know. Bizarre scarecrow conversions. Wood elves. Wow, that is a cool model of Ariel. Really? That is awesome. Like, what are these tiny little fairies? Like, where would they have gotten those? If this is a golden demon piece, like, are these Warhammer miniatures? Do they sculpt them themselves? Did Games Workshop allow outside miniatures back in the day in Golden Demon? Like, I'm not sure what the rules were back then. But yeah, that's a really nice looking piece. Wood Elves had some really cool stuff. Like, some of their sculpts feel like farther ahead than a lot of the other stuff in the fantasy range for some reason. It just feels so much more dynamic. Like this guy standing on this like log, his blade out, and, like the wind blowing all of his robes. Her like kind of looks like she's jumping down something with her bow, and like there's just so many cool dynamic sculpts. Even this one's kind of flat, but it still looks really awesome with him rising up, power of some kind of magic or whatever. Orion. Ugh. All of these are super. Oh, the Sisters of Twilight, super classic. Oh man, I always wanted this model. The old dragons, like, they're so weird. They have like such a strange style to them. I wonder who, like, there must be somebody within GW's history that kind of helped establish this style of dragon. This like kind of long, snake-like body, and they have like these longer heads. I think they're really unique and interesting. I like them a lot. Glade Guard, very awesome, and the Glade Riders. I always thought the Eternal Guard were pretty cool too. Who cares about Dryads? What are these, like the same models? Pretty sure. Like, come on. These need to be updated. If these are the same models. If they're not the same models, they look the same right now, and I don't know, they're kind of, they haven't been good in a long time, I feel like, so I don't know. Lots of good stuff here. My camera is gonna die soon. I wonder if we're gonna make it. Got a little bit left here. Oh, Tree Man. Nice. More tactics. Looks like the Wood Elves didn't have a ton of stuff. That's very cool. Wow. That is awesome. Doesn't say what it... Oh, here it is. Far right. Matt Parks won the open competition 2001 UK Golden Demon painting competition with this model. Like, what is it? Is it supposed to be Orion? I don't know. Very cool stuff. Wow. Oh, that is amazing. That is so good. That's like one of the war dancers, I think they're called. That is awesome. Man, so many good pieces. Very cool. Warhammer Siege. Oh, the old Siege stuff. This custom built Bretonnian castle. Oh my god. That is amazing. So much good stuff here. So much good stuff. Wow. All the old Siege stuff. I don't know too much about Siege, but I do remember like I had some of the old Siege models and stuff. Oh, and we're getting into the specialist games and Lord of the Rings. So you know what? We're gonna call it there. Yeah. Thanks again for watching my video, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, we're gonna have the Lord of the Rings and specialist games part of this series coming out real soon. So if you don't wanna miss that, make sure you subscribe. And in the meantime, hey, maybe like, leave a comment, dislike if you didn't like this. I appreciate all the feedback. And until next time, paint today for a better tomorrow. Peace out.